everyone, my name's Eden, and today we're going to be answering the question of, am I a living thing? So be sure to keep this question in mind as we go throughout the lesson, so hopefully you'll have an answer by the end of it. Let me start off by introducing myself. My name's Eden, and I'm studying biology at York University here in Toronto. I have a true passion for science, and I'm very excited to be here today to be teaching you about living and non-living things. Okay, so in terms of our agenda for today, we're first going to be doing our lesson. As I mentioned, the lesson is going to be on what is a living thing. We're going to discuss living things, non-living things, and the differences between the two. After our lesson, we're going to be doing a nice, fun activity, and we're actually going to be going on a nature walk. So before we do the walk, we're going to have to go through the materials, and we're also going to have to go through safety. So get ready for a fun lesson. Okay, so let's start off with the basics. What is a living thing? Living things can, 1, move on their own, 2, breathe, 3, make energy, 4, grow, and 5, get rid of waste. So I'm just going to give you a couple of seconds to kind of think about what these mean, and if you can think of any living things on your own. Okay, so now that you've had a bit of time to think about your answer, we're just going to go through each of the points individually and try and break them down a little bit more. So, moving on our own, let's try and think. For humans, I can say that we can walk, we run, snakes slither, and birds fly. Those are all examples of living things and the different ways that they move. Breathing. We're always breathing. We take a deep breath in, we breathe in oxygen, and we breathe out. That's one of the reasons why we're alive. Making energy. How do we get our energy? Think about it. All our lives revolve around eating. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, these are the things that actually give us energy. This leads me to my next point of growing. When we take in energy, we eat food, we grow big and strong. Without food, we aren't able to grow. And obviously, we need a way to get rid of our food. So we go to the washroom. Now that you know a little bit more about living things, let's see some examples. So here we have a wide range of living things. We have mushrooms, flowers, zebra, fish, trees, dragonflies, crocodiles, birds, frogs, and this is just a few examples. There are so many living things around us. So make sure to keep in mind, are you a living thing? Look, these are both living things. We have a plant which needs sunlight and water to grow. And here we have Alice in Wonderland, and all she needs is a piece of bread. Although we don't actually grow that quickly, we see that when Alice eats the bread, she shoots up and grows much taller. So now, what is a non-living thing? Basically, it's pretty much the opposite of what we said before. So non-living things cannot move on their own, cannot breathe, cannot make energy, cannot grow, and cannot get rid of waste. So all of the things that we've listed here are not living things. Can you think of any more? We have a teddy, a ball, a doll, a chair, a cloud, and a skateboard. So you might think that, clouds seem to move on their own in the sky. Well, actually, that's just because of the wind. And a ball seems to roll all over the place. That might be just because you happen to be pushing it. Or if you're outside, it could be the wind as well. And skateboards, they just have wheels, and the wheels need to be pushed by humans to help them move. How are kids, like you and me, different from other living things? So We covered that flowers are living things, so we have a picture of a flower, and then we have a picture of kids. These are obviously very, very different, but we're both living things. How can this be? Think about it really hard. Think, that's a clue. Okay, 10 more seconds. Okay, so kids think. Did you like that clue before? Flowers don't. We have a brain. We're always thinking, we're always in school, and we're always learning new information. Flowers don't have brains. Kids talk. Flowers don't. Have you ever heard a flower talk? That would be kind of crazy. And finally, kids get energy from food, and flowers get energy from the sun. So here we have a similarity. We both need energy, but we get energy from different places. We can't just get energy from the sun, we need food. And while I showed you before, plants like flowers need sun and water to grow. So let's sit back and reflect a little on what we learned today. I have a couple questions for you. I'll give you guys about 30 seconds to answer each, and then maybe we can discuss a few ideas of some answers. Okay, so one, do kids have anything in common with non-living things? Hint, we just went over that kind of quickly. So let's go to the second question. Are kids living things? I'll give you a couple seconds to think about these on your own. Okay, so one idea for number one is that kids and non-living things both take up space. Think about it, even on this slide right here. We have rocks, we have trees. Those both take up space in the world, just like you and me. Also, we both have weight. Rocks are very heavy, and so are humans. I'll give you a couple more seconds to think about the answer to the second question. Okay, so are kids living things? Yes, we are actually. Remember, we can move on our own, breathe on our own, make energy, grow, and get rid of waste. We talked about those 5 points earlier on, and that's what makes us living things. So now let's apply our knowledge. Let's use what we've learned about living and non-living things and go on a nature walk. So for today's activity, we're going to be going on a nature walk, and we're going to see if we can find living and non-living things and try and tell the difference between the two. Okay, so materials and safety check. No matter where you are in the world, we want to make sure that you're on a very safe and fun, enjoyable walk. So if you're in a very cold place, you're going to need a jacket, hat, boots, closed-toe shoes wherever you are, because you don't want to be stepping in something sharp or dangerous. If you're in a very sunny place, make sure to put on sunscreen, sunglasses, and just dress appropriately no matter where you are. Whatever you do, do not walk alone. Ask a parent or guardian to take you, and you'll be on your way. If the weather isn't cooperating, if it's too hot or too cold, wait for it to get better. So for our activity, we're going to be going on a nature walk, as I said, and it's going to be about 10 to 15 minutes. What I'm going to ask you to do on your walk is to find living things. So make sure to ask yourself, is this a living thing? How do I know that it's actually a living thing? Think back to the 5 points that we discussed earlier. Can you find non-living things? How do you know that it's non-living? Think about the 5 points that we talked about earlier. Hopefully now you have the ability to look and find living and non-living things and tell the difference between the two. As a follow-up activity after your nature walk, make sure to ask yourself, can you now identify living and non-living things around you? Maybe before you weren't able to do that, but now hopefully you have a better understanding of what living and non-living things look like. So that's it for today. I really hope you guys enjoyed our lesson. And again, if you have any questions or comments, we'd love to hear from you. Please screenshot or save the emails that you see over here in this slide. And hopefully I'll be seeing you guys soon. Bye, everyone.